Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, God Kodash. Belongs to the apostles and the elders, the great mills, and what you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the Breach Shemon, this week's topic is going to be a response to a nurse quitting her job due to the fear of catching the coronavirus. I was just listening to it on the radio while I'm, doing the lift, whatever. And this lady, pretty much, she's a nurse, and she was obligated to go to the floor dealing with patients that have the coronavirus. And she started crying, like, I got kids, how can you put me in this position? She went on Instagram with it, and it's getting a whole bunch of traction now. She pretty much clocked out, quit her fucking job. She quit her job with the fear of catching a virus that's not even proven to be airborne. But what we can take away from that situation is the power of the media and the power of fear. Man, Esau, I'm going to bring out the scripture that comes to my mind. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and the 1st verse. The most subtle beast of all these nations, the so-called white man is the most deceptive. And Anton LaVey, the former head of the Church of Satan, said, look, we're going to use the media, we're going to use music, because that's what true witchcraft, witchcraft is a sin of rebellion. But the way this man puts a spell on people is via his the TV, the media. You say something enough times, and people will just start to believe it. You say it enough, you put enough propaganda out there, and people are just going to run with it. Highly due to fear. Same thing they did in 2001. You got people who, what's crazy about 2001 was, it wasn't China, the Chinese at the time, it was the so-called Middle Eastern people. They had everybody hating the Muslims. If you had a turban on your head, you was automatically deemed a terrorist and you're going to blow shit up. Right? So they use this, what about there was a time when it was the communist Russia, Russian commie, and so they just know how to create an enemy. And one thing I noticed about the coronavirus, what's unique about it is it's like terror, meaning you can't kill it. You can continually prolong it. If you have an enemy that's an actual person or figure, no problem. Go ahead, target him, kill him, and that's it. But when you use something like terror, when you use something like a virus, when you use something very arbitrary, you could use that to more benefit your agenda, And all you have to do is just back it with fear. Thankfully, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, we have these scriptures, and the scripture says, the simple believe every word, but the prudent man look well into his going. So, not everything they throw out there in the media and every type of fear monger they throw out there, you just start to fact check things, They say 650,000 worldwide cases, not even deaths, just cases. And that's, when you do that, if that's the global case number, with a population of the world of around 7 billion or more, that's not even 1%, really. That's less than 1%. That's like 0.0 something. People even got it, But again, the fear has been doing a lot more damage than this virus ever could have, man. We're talking about the shutting down of businesses, people fighting over each other. I've seen it at my job, man. Security had to come, police had to come, because people are fighting over of Clorox, spraying all types of Lysol disinfectants, and all that chemical is really, you're spraying that chemical over and over, and you cooped up inside the house. That's not going to do anything great for your immune system, right? But it's become that severe where people are just leaving their job. I mean, here it is, you got to support your family, you got kids and all these, you have responsibilities, but you're going to leave your job because of a virus that's not even airborne. I'm saying a common flu virus, but that's the power of fear, and that's the power of playing on people's emotions. The spirit got, brothers going into this thing and doing lessons on it, and filtering it through prophecies. Not saying that the Most High cannot and will not bring natural pestilence and plagues upon the planet Earth. The Most High have done that many a times. And there's pestilence and plagues on the Earth right now that the so-called white man can't do anything about. Prime example is influenza, the common cold. It's killing a lot more people than the coronavirus. And there's vaccines for it, and it's still killing people. Because look, if the Most High deems you to die, you're going to die. And it's crazy how, it's a respiratory disease, but big tobacco is not taking any cigarettes off the shelves, even though that's killing 480,000 people a year. So this so-called white man, he's a predator, man. He likes to prey. He likes to prey on Americans, the so-called American people. And when you take away bread and circus from Jake, they start to seek answers. Hosea 5:15, and thy affliction you should seek me early. So Jake starts to search for things because that bread and circus is gone now. That distraction is gone now. So all they have now is fear, speculation, and trying to find answers. The elder brother in the chat, he put that clip from The Office when Dwight did that fire drill and people was going extremely crazy because they never had a fire drill before, and they were paralleling that with this whole coronavirus situation. So I think I look at that and I just see the power of just the media and how the power of manipulation. It's heavy, You wouldn't rationally think like, damn, I'm about to quit a job. I'm not worried about. I'm going to quit a job over a virus that's not even airborne. And wait a minute, if that's the case, you signed up to be a nurse. You know what I'm saying? You deal with sick people all the time. I don't know the full situation, but I'm assuming most nurses, it's not safe to assume, but maybe not all nurses, maybe she's not in that field, but as a nurse, you're in a hospital, people are sick and shit all the damn time. Why now you choose to quit, Because they think the coronavirus is going to kill them. So, when we go into scriptures like Revelations, the 13th chapter, primarily dealing with the RFID microchip, when it says that he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive this mark. And through the Spirit, brothers been saying, like, look, man, Esau's going to set up in a way that majority of the people are going to line up in droves to get it. They're going to actually want it, And this should be a clear example that, look, the so-called white man can come up with a ton of different ways to beguile the people, just like he beguiled Eve, because he knows part of the truth, right? And he twists that with lies to fit his particular agenda. And these things they do, they plan thoroughly and in advance, man. It's not just some shit they pull out their ass. They study people. They study how people react, and there's a clip you can watch it on YouTube. They have like all the top robust, busy cities all throughout the world, from Rome to New York to Paris, and they show them before and after the lockdown, the martial law. People have been self-quarantined. You know what I'm saying? Self-quarantine. The government don't even have to do it. People are just self-quarantining each other, just like how the censorship of your speech, people censor one another. It's not the government that outright comes and do it. You have other people, social justice warriors, that will censor your own freedom of speech, man. So, look, hey, we're remaining stable in these times, The Most High is providing for brothers regardless of any situation, and that's thanks all due to the scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakudash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great ones on true well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, man. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Let's see where this thing goes, man. Donald Trump said he's going to extend it all the way out to April the 12th. Certain people say they might go even more, Maybe these people might just say fuck it and revolt. Or maybe Donald Trump executes his art of the deal plan and let these people go and take that $1,200 check and thrust himself into more deeper debt. Either way, It's the furthering of prophecy. So with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well, and salutations to all for the elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim, and do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.